Hello guys and welcome to this Eyes on the Ball tip video. Today we're on to the round 17 tips. So we're nearly 3/4 of the way through the season. So quite a fair way in. So as we should, let's get into it. Well, first I got 8 out of 9 tips last week. Got ruined in the Melbourne GWS game. And Ollie's calls 5 out of 9. So not too bad if you ask me. Anyway, let's move on to the first game. Richmond v Sydney. MCG 7:20 p.m. Thursday night. Should be a pretty good game, I reckon. Pretty close. Both teams need a win to hang on to their finals hopes. Both teams 6-1 and 8. And yeah, they need a win to hang on. So that's going to be interesting. Richmond coming off a loss, which they were looking like they could, but then a massive loss to Brisbane. Sydney coming off a draw to Geelong. That was a very bad game. So Sydney should have won, but a draw's not the worst result. I think though, I'm going to tip Sydney by 7 with my Ollie's call that Tom Papley kicks 2+ goals. Moving on to the Friday night game. Collingwood, Western Bulldogs at Marvel, 7:50 p.m. Friday. This is going to be an interesting game. I could see this being close, but I reckon... it's actually both teams coming off a couple of wins. Bulldogs, this to push for top 4. Collingwood first, keep their lead over Port Adelaide. This will be close, but I'm going to tip Collingwood by 31 with my Ollie's call. Collingwood trail in the first half. Second half. Because first half, yeah, but second half I meant. Moving on to the next game. Brisbane versus West Coast. Gabba, 1:45 p.m. Sunday. I am going to tip Brisbane, obviously. West Coast, though, they're looking up. They nearly beat St Kilda. And St Kilda, oh my God, I'll talk about that more later. Brisbane, massive win over Richmond. They're just so strong at the Gabba, that's why I'm tipping them by 92 with Ollie's call that Brisbane kicked 20+ goals. Moving on to the Saturday 4:35 game. This game's going to be really hard to tip for one reason. I don't know if James Sicili's playing or not. I don't think he is, but if he is, Hawthorn win. But I don't think he is. So, I think the Giants are going to win in a close one by 14 points because there's no James Sicily, no Hawthorn. Giants coming off an amazing win over Melbourne. Melbourne should have won, they were just inaccurate. Hawks coming off a disappointing loss to the Boys where they did not score a goal in the first half. I'm going to tip GWS by 14 with my Ollie's call that Tom Green has 25+ disposals. Moving on to the first Saturday night game. Melbourne St Kilda. St Kilda, oh my God, that's the worst win I've ever seen. It feels more like a loss. 8 points over West Coast. We were down by 24 points at half time and 30 in the second quarter. So outrageously disappointing. 9 and 6, 5th. We're finishing 9th. We're not making the 8. Melbourne, disappointing loss, but if they fix up their goal kicking, they'll dominate over the Saints, and that's what I'm expecting. Melbourne going to win by 61, with my Ollie's call Max King kicks 2 goals or less. Moving on, Port Adelaide Gold Coast, Adelaide Oval, 7:40 p.m. Saturday night. I think this is a pretty easy tip, actually. Port Adelaide, a win after the siren against Essendon. Absolutely amazing. Dan Houston from 55 out. Tell me about it. And they're 13-2, 12 on the trot, sit in second. They're just going as well as you can possibly go. Gold Coast, 2 big losses in 3 weeks. Disappointing loss to Collingwood. They weren't expected to win, but you would have expected them to put up a fight. I don't think they're going to be much chop on Saturday night. I'm tipping Port by 32 with my Ollie's call that Dan Houston has 20 plus disposals. Moving on to the Sunday 1:10 p.m. game. Geelong, North Melbourne. GMHBA. Geelong coming off a draw to Sydney. As I talked about earlier, that was a terrible game. Sydney should have won. Geelong will be happy with the draw. Well, obviously they would have wanted to win, but from where Sydney were. North Melbourne, disappointing loss to Adelaide. They actually looked in it in the second quarter, but then they just dropped off in that third quarter, and that was game. You can't not tip Geelong in this game. I'm going to tip Geelong by 53 with my Ollie's call that Jeremy Cameron kicks 2 plus goals. Moving on to the Channel 7 Sunday game. Essendon, Adelaide, 8th v 7th. Both teams 8 and 7. Both teams have had better than expected seasons this year. Essendon, as in they're sitting in 8th, 8 and 7. Coming off 2 losses, unlucky loss where they choked against Port Adelaide after the siren. Adelaide coming off an amazing win over North. Essendon head in as favourites because Adelaide can't play out at Adelaide Oval. But after their performance against Collingwood, I'm going to tip Adelaide by 1 singular point. By 1 point. I reckon they can get it done. Could be a goal after the siren. Maybe 2 weeks in a row, but I'm just saying they're going to win by a point. And my Ollie's call is that Ben Keys has 22 plus disposals. Moving on to the last game of the round, Fremantle v Carlton. This is a pretty close game. If Carlton win this, they're actually still in finals hunt, as in they're 6, 1 and 8. Like, they'll be 7, 1 and 8, and they will actually be higher on the ladder than Fremantle if they win this. Fremantle 7 and 8, sitting in 11th, coming off a loss to the Bulldogs. Not great, but the Bulldogs are pretty good, especially at Marvel. Carlton, good win over Hawthorn. Even though it's at Optus, I'm tipping Carlton by 27 with my Ollie's call that Adam Chera against his former side gets 100 plus fantasy points. Thanks for watching and listening an Ollie's on the Ball tips video. Bye!